Hey, Wayne, what's going on, everybody? It's Big Matt from the Matt and Todd Show. Glad you guys stopped by to catch another locker room reaction. We're going to be talking about this deal. Jimmy Butler being asked a question about, you know, if he makes it to the NBA Basketball Hall of Fame, how he would feel. And the reporter asking the question, and, you know, he gives an answer that kind of feels like it's just kind of like him. He's not a selfish player. He's not into a lot of awards or accolades. And they did lose last night in the finals. Congrats to the Nuggets on that. Jokic is one of the greatest big men to ever play the game. I mean, he's passed, Jabbar's records. He passed some of Wilt's records. He averaged a triple double, in finals and playoffs and stuff. So hats off to them again. But this is about Jimmy Butler's comments on if he makes it to the NBA Hall of Fame. So let's jump over here and see what's going on with Butler and kind of what he had to say about it.
He was asked about the potential of him making the Basketball Hall of Fame. And my goodness, his answer is gaining a lot of attention. Check it out.
If we're being brutally honest, if I was selected to the Hall of Fame, I'm not going.
You're not going to accept it?
No, I'm not going. Like, it's like the festivities and all of that. It's an individual thing. I'm not for the individual type stuff. I'm really not. I'm like a team guy.
But even after it's all said and done and you've done
No, I don't want to go. I'm not worried about the Hall of Fame. So I promise you. It's an honor, it is, but
Okay. So, okay. Jimmy says, like, what? He's an admirable young man. He's a great player. And that's kind of what you're supposed to say, right? I mean, you're not supposed to come out and say, hey, they induct me in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I'm supposed to be getting in the Hall of Fame. I'm one of the greatest players playing the game right now. He just, when this interview was done, I think this was like before the second or third game in the final. So, I mean, what is he supposed to say? He's supposed to just kind of be a bud about it and act like he feels like by his body language and what he was doing, it kind of feels like he feels like he's not worthy. And he said right there, right up front, guys, he said that I am a team player and that is an individual award. And honestly, again, man, he's just not thinking about playing. He's just playing the game. He's trying to win a championship. He's not thinking about going to the Hall of Fame. I think as a guy that does, interviews and stuff with football players, baseball, softball, basketball, whatever, I think it's a dumb question. That's just my opinion. So let's go back over here and you can see what Shannon has to say about it. And as usual, I don't really agree with what Shannon has to say, how he feels about what Jimmy said. It's not like he's mocking the Hall of Fame because the guy said, oh, so you're not going. He said, oh, no, I would accept the award. I mean, yes, of course, it'd be a great honor to be in the Hall of Fame, but all the party and the frills and spills and the champagne and all that, that's just not me. I'm a team player. I know it takes all of us to win. So that's how I feel about it. And that's just Jimmy's opinion. But it didn't come across to me that he's being a smart aleck. Let's jump back in here and see what Shay, which day was his last day, by the way. He's no longer with FS1.
Great interview by Jared Greenberg. Jimmy, I don't know, that might be a mistake to skip that. Shannon, do you like or do you have a problem with what Jimmy Butler said?
I hate everything he said. I have a big problem with it.
So you're saying you have a problem with a young man that's right in the middle of the finals trying to win a championship, young man, and he's not boisterous. Butler don't get out and brag. You don't hear nothing about this guy. You don't hear anybody get in trouble. You don't hear about him being a bad teammate. You don't hear anything. So you don't like anything that he has to say. You don't like – which part did you not like, Shay? Did you not like the part where he said, well, it's a team game and I'm a team player and, I'm just, it's just kind of not my style. I don't like all the frills and wheels. So what was he supposed to say? Hey, yeah, man, I want to be celebrated. When I make it to the Hall of Fame, when I, get done doing this, I just don't get his opinion on it. I don't get it at all.
Skip, I get it. You're in the middle of the NBA Finals. You can say, I'm really not thinking about the Hall of Fame right now. The most important thing with me is to find a way to win one game. in Denver to try to get it back to Miami. But to be this openly and blatantly disrespectful of what we call heaven.
Yeah.
It's sports heaven. Skip, give me just a second. I want to Skip, I remember when I got the call that I made it to the Hall of Fame, I picked up the phone and called my grandmother. She was she was dying. She would die a couple of months later. I said, Grand, I made it to the Hall of Fame. She said, baby, what's that? I say, that's where all the really good, great football players go when they retire. She said, oh, baby, that's so good. I sure hope I'm around to see it. The Hall of Fame in any particular sport is football heaven in football. It's basketball heaven in basketball. It's baseball heaven in Cooperstown. That's the heaven. That's the ultimate validation. Jimmy Butler, it's not like hockey. The great Gretzky, he retired. They put him in the Hall of Fame right away. In other sports, you've got to wait 5 years. So you mean to tell me in 5 years you can't find Bali, the Maldives, wherever you want to go and put your toes in the sand? You that disrespectful to I don't like the festivities. Skip it. Did you know Jimmy Butler has been to 6 All-Star games? How many times did he turn them down? They didn't take his teammates.
Now we're going to compare an All-Star game to the Hall of Fame. Dude, you don't make no sense. This is why people don't like him. He just said that it's heaven. That's the ultimate goal. And then you're going to turn right around and say some idiot stuff like, well, you got picked for All-Star game. Why did you show up for that? You should have just protested that too. You know, I mean, hey, you know, I'm too good. He never said that. He never said that at all. So he's a terrible. That's a bad argument to say that the Hall of Fame is heaven and then turn around and say, well, if you got picked for All-Star game, would you not go to that? What are you talking about?
No.
See, that sounds good. See, this is what turned people off about athletes because the arrogance and the pompousness of this joker.
Yeah.
How is it arrogant? How? Somebody please help me on this. Somebody point me out. How is Jimmy Butler being arrogant by saying, I don't like all the frills and wheels. Of course, I would accept a bid to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, who wouldn't? That's what we all, you know, want to go to when we get done. But he's not a single player. He's not like your boy Brian that says he's the greatest, that runs his mouth constantly all the time. Now, he ain't said it this year because he ain't. He's not the greatest to ever play the game. LeBron is not. So I would have to add my second part take to this. Why your boy hero Shay is acting that way? Because he probably feels like it's a knock at LeBron because him and Bron is boys. So him saying that it's not that big a deal and I just don't like all the party and stuff to it. Of course I would who wouldn't accept a bid to go to the Hall of Fame? Of course he's going to go. He's Jimmy Butler's a good player. If he keeps playing like he's playing, he's going to get some chips and he'll wind up in the Hall of Fame. But he's just saying that it's not a big deal to him because he's a team player. And the old boy, Brian, I ain't never heard him say nothing like that. Never. That just don't even make sense. Why would he say something like that? And then that stupid crap about comparing it to an All-Star you wouldn't take. So why you take the All-Star game? Because it's not the Hall of Fame. They're different, you idiot.
To have the nerve to say you should fall on your knees and thank God that 50, 60 men and women said, you know what, Jimmy Butler is worthy of.
Who's saying he's not? Who's saying he's not? Who's saying he's not would be excited about being there. He just said he didn't want to go to all the festivities. It seems like he's just he just don't care about all the clout and all this, you know, you don't hear nothing about Jimmy Butler. Okay. And I'm just telling you my opinion. This is my take. Not first take from Stephen A. My take is Shay is butthurt. That's why you tell his voice. He's getting that bass in his voice, you know, because he feels like Butler is taking a shot at Bron. Now, is that true? I don't know. But I know how he is about Bron, and it's his last day. I mean, what are they going to do, fire him?
Basketball heaven. Skip, this is blatantly disrespectful.
It's not.
He talking like he one of the historically all-time greats.
When did he say
like
that?
He's transcended. I can see if they wronged him in some way.
What are you
in
talking
some
about?
manner. What has the NBA done to him besides making more wealthy than his wildest dreams?
What is he talking about?
Everything that he's got. come courtesy of the NBA. I'm not saying that he didn't work hard. I'm not saying that he didn't deserve it, because he deserved everything that he got coming to him.
Yeah.
But for him to say this, Skip, he has to miss me with all of this.
It's like we watched two different videos. It's like he watched LeBron get up there and do his barbershop thing and talk about him being the greatest. Well, I guess winning that game made me the greatest ever because he felt like he beat the greatest team ever. No, the Golden State wasn't the greatest team ever. Go back and look at the records from the beginning of the season all the way through the playoffs. That Bulls team was the best team ever. 96 team. They won more games. They always say Golden State. Yeah, but they didn't win all the finals games. They didn't go in there and sweep everybody through all the playoffs and the finals. They lost games. They just counted regular season. Go count all of it. So Brian takes his ideology as I'm the greatest because I beat that Golden State team. No, Kyrie beat the Golden State team. That's silly. That's stupid stuff.
Quick aside, after the last 10 games, does he even belong in the Hall of Fame?
Then why would you say that? Why you got to call a guy out? They're a number 8 seeded team. The Heat, we just talked about this on the show. How in the world, how did they get in? How did they even make it to the finals? Because of that guy right there. Because of Jimmy Butler. He's the reason they even made it to the finals. An 8-seeded team? I mean, we don't even know how they got there. Did they just kind of drag around through the season and loaf and load manage like the Lakers did so they can even make it to a playoff game? AD, Mr. Glassman. If it wasn't for Butler, they wouldn't have been in the finals at all. And you see the night, did they not watch the game? Now, I know this game is before the finals, but it's like we're watching two different videos. I don't even know what he's talking about, man. It don't even make no sense. This is why you need to come over here and watch us Sunday nights. These two guys say it's like, what planet are they on, man? That's insane. That's not even close to my take on it at all.
I brought this up, I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, I see right now. I said no.
You
And look at down the bottom of the screen. Jimmy Butler. They asked him that question. I'm not worried about the Hall of Fame. That's what he's supposed to say. He's not supposed to be worried about the Hall of Fame. For God's sake, he's a young player in the NBA. He's been playing a little while. Jimmy's a good player. He's a good kid. And he may be in the Hall of Fame. Why? I'm not worried about the Hall of Fame. I'm just trying to win the next game. Who am I? I'm not Michael Jordan. I'm not Kobe. I'm not none of those guys.
were shocked I brought up the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what the context was. And you shocked me by saying he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I told you, well, it seems like everybody gets in the Basketball Hall of Fame, not the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but the Basketball. And now you're like, well, wait a second.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's talking about he a slam dunk. Like he LeBron, like he got like 17, like he got like 8, 19 first team All NBA.
What is he talking about? He never said that. You just making up stuff. That's what it is. See, he brought up LeBron, so I was right. I'm reacting to this. This is a pure reaction. All I seen was the part what Jimmy said. So I wanted to play this and have a real reaction with you guys right here, and you can get my reaction to what Shay Shay and Skip it and my Lou idiot Bayless is saying. He brought up LeBron. See, so he feels like it's a shot at LeBron because him saying, "Hey, the game's not about me. You know, it's a team game. I'm a team player." I ain't never heard Bron say that.
Like 3 or 4 MVPs, a couple of Finals MVPs, led the league in score, the DPOY.
As I always tell you about the Pro Football Hall of Fame, if I have to think twice about you,
Right.
you're not in my Hall of Fame.
Right.
If I hear a name, Tom Brady, well, you just say, oh, well, yeah, he's in the Hall of
Well,
Fame.
some guys they shouldn't even have to wait 5 years.
Right.
A Brady, a Manning, a Joe Montana. Why they waiting? LT, why they waiting?
LT, yeah. Lawrence Taylor. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do I have to think twice?
Yeah.
But Jimmy Butler gives me pause. I have to stop and say, well, wait, he's never, ever gotten he's never been in the top 10 of the MVP voting.
Right.
He got one top 3 vote, but it's a solitary single vote. Like out of nowhere, it's an aberration vote.
Right.
But I guarantee you this. He ain't wanting to skip around and play the whole bunch of teams like Bron and KD. Even Kyrie's moving around. James Harden's moving around. Jimmy could go play somewhere. We was talking about this last night. Hey, is this team going to stay together? Who name some guys on that Heat team? Because we went through the net. There ain't nobody on that team that good. Are you kidding me? Jimmy Butler, supposedly illegitimate son of Michael Jordan. That's a whole nother story because supposedly Mike was in Texas about the year that Jimmy was born. Now, that's just all conjecture and hearsay and stories that's been around for 30 years, nearly 25 years. So what if Jimmy was to move? Why do you not hear all this stuff about him making all these big scoring runs and those kind of things? He don't play with nobody. His team, he needs a good teammate. Could he go play with a Kyrie? I don't know. I mean, him and Kyrie are probably too similar maybe in a way, but KD, could he go play with him or I don't know. My first thought maybe what if he went to Golden State? What if he went to Golden State, wound up playing out there or something? So that's why, Skip. That's why. Because he stayed there and he's been playing there for a long time.
You can even question the authenticity of it, right? The credibility of it. Okay, so he didn't even make the All-Star team this regular season, but he did weirdly make second team All-NBA, which is the highest ranking he's ever achieved.
Right. Why didn't he turn it down?
Well, that's a good point.
I mean,
there's no
hold on.
festivity to it.
No.
There's no
What about Bam?
enshrinement.
Where's Bam?
Even Skip just said, well, there's no festivities to it. You're not celebrating a player, Shay, you idiot. Now, I never dribbled basketball professionally, but good grief, man, you got any kind of sense? What do you mean? Why did he turn it? Why didn't he turn that down? You got picked for something, you idiot. You just made the case that Hall of Fame is the biggest thing ever since it's heaven. You use the word heaven. You literally use the word heaven. And then you're going to bring up something. Well, why didn't he take a bid at the All-Star game? Why didn't he just say, I don't want to, I don't want to do that. Second team, don't put me on there. Because, man, I see why this show, this is why. Come on Sunday nights, guys. Come hang out with us. I don't even want to watch this no more. I'm serious. I'm done watching this. We got 17 minutes on here. Y'all can go watch the rest of it on your own. These guys, man, they aggravate me that they make all this money and they're so stupid. The things they say don't even make sense. He's making a case for one thing, then he argues against himself with the next point. That's why the show ain't working. The idiots that say stuff like this. Think about what you're saying, man. I mean, you don't have to be super prepared to come in and talk about a topic. I seen part of this video about Jimmy Butler. I just walk in here and turn the computer on, flip the laptop up, and plug up the mic, and I can talk about it because I can listen to what Butler's saying and watch his body language. He's like shrugging his shoulders, like that's really not a big deal because he's trying to just win a game. Thank you guys for coming by another Locker Room special. Man, get away from this ESPN, Fox Sports garbage.